Even after retirement, till the RTI came, I used to take my camera, go around, take photographs if I something going wrong and write in the newspapers or give it to them.
Money has already come in. The political parties have used it. The rest will be used for the coming elections. What does it really say about a democracy? In June, let's say when a new government is going to be elected, what does it say about the government? A government that has been elected out of a political campaign that was done through money received through questionable means.
You see, rules were bent right from the scratch. 94.7% is sold in 1 crore. Out of 16,500, more than 15,000 bonds, still 15,000 are 1 crore. So who is giving it?
Commodore Lokesh Batra, transparency campaigner who spearheaded the fight for transparency in the electoral bond scheme, is joining me. Thank you, Commodore Batra ji, for talking to me.
Thank you to you for having called me here so that I can exchange my own experience. Thank you so much.
Commodore Batra, the thing is, you've always been saying that you don't want to be called as an RTI activist. Instead, you want to be called as a transparency campaigner. Now, on February 15th, the Supreme Court called the electoral bond scheme unconstitutional. But way before that, journalists like us, we have been receiving so many documents from you. I mean, huge piles of documents which you've acquired through RTIs. It was through your RTI petitions that we got to know that the Reserve Bank of India and the Election Commission of India were not in favor of the electoral bond scheme. Now, I want to know from you, how did you start your fight against electoral bonds in a bid to bring in more transparency into the system? What was the trigger? How old is this fight really?
See, to be honest with you, I never use the word fight. I use my RTI is only to seek information to be able to participate. That's how I look at my work of seeking information. In fact, half the time I use request when I use the word instead of RTI. Request for information, and when you get information, if there's anything which you normally find it, you will be able to bring reforms. That means you are participating in the government. But at the same time, all my information I seek, one, my principle is I don't give exclusive to anybody. The reason being that information which I get has to go in a larger public domain to maximum people. Otherwise, it is as good as lying in the government. Anything lying with me is as good as government. So what I like to do is that whether it gets media attention or not, but I would have shared with so many of them. At least those people know about it. The idea is to spread the information. And like in my case, I've been also sharing with the petitioners. I'm not a petitioner, but there are a few petitioners. So any information came, I shared with petitioner, and the next step I shared with media.
If you can tell me, when exactly did you start this entire journey? What was the first, what came to your mind? What was the trigger? When did you decide to file that first RTI petition related to electoral bonds? How did this entire process start?
See, when we are talking about electoral bond, I must tell you in the past, there was never a time, even in service, I did a lot of things. I was appointed at one stage community development advisor to chief. That means the entire Navy. After I had authored a book called Outreach and released by President. Like when going to Orissa, when there was a super cyclone, I was leading a team. When it came down to Kargil, I led another team. So lastly, it was before that Gujarat earthquake. We were there and we managed to build a village. Even after retirement, till the RTI came, I used to take my camera, go around, take photographs if I something going wrong and write in the newspapers or give it to them. But when the RTI came, it became easy. So similarly, when this thing came up, electoral bond thing, it was not in fact electoral bond. This all started with the Amendment to Finance Act 2017. So when that normally you always look for transparency. So when foreign finance minister late Arun Jaitley was giving a speech, so when you heard it, something good was coming up. Because my experience with him when he was a leader of opposition was very good, because they came under RTI, so I had filed RTI there also as a leader of opposition. So they were very positive. But after a few, as you kept on listening to their speech, you realized they talked about opaque. So it was a question of you can't have transparency and opaqueness go together.
Yeah.
So that is the first stage. And then also somehow there was the information about what election commission has reacted on this. And in this file also we came to know that RBI, they thought it's not necessary to even consult RBI till someone told you are going to, RBI, the one main thing you got to take consultation. So they wrote to them, and 48 hours they replied, but the reply when came on the file, it said the RBI doesn't understand. In any case, our speech is ready. Now, this beginning and triggering point, they go, dig more and more into the system. That is how it all started. Like, as I said, you want to do a reform. Then there was a in between election commission. Election commission wrote one letter on 26th May 2017, and it is blasted this scheme by saying it's a retrograde step. It will create shell company.
Hmm.
It'll, the electoral system will go failure completely because there will be no transparency. Now they had my way of functioning was get that first letter. With that letter and few documents on the file, because I feel I normally ask for files. With a comma full stop, you find there is something missing in that. So you have to file more out here. But in this case, after the initial this thing, with those documents, they had written this letter to Law Ministry Legislative Department. So I filed an RTI with them, attaching all the documents which I received from the election commission.
Hmm.
I don't want to give other public authority, we are not aware about it. So my RTAs are normally giving a lot of background, context, trying to feed the CPIO to where to look for information. So to my horror, in 2018, by the time it was 2018, nothing much was done even in the law ministry. That it was lying almost for a year, lying with them. 70, almost a year, because I know it was July 2018. No action was being taken. After my RTIs, they are getting their documents and pressurized that finally that case moved to Department of Economic Affairs, which was charged. Retrospectively, you'll have to come back on that because they were finally, initially, it was all generated from the Department of Revenue. But to structure and run this was given to Department of Economic Affairs. So my RTI went to Department of Economic Affairs. Initially, their reaction that we have nothing to do, it is something to do with the Department of Revenue. But same time, they have circulated my RTI application among their own various divisions. And one of the division had come back saying that we agree with election. Now the time left was so big, that means a lot of work had to be done in between. So I'm just making it simple for that.
Hmm.
And some incident happened in between, not too pleasant. And MOS Finance made a statement in the Rajya Sabha on 18 December 2018, when a question was raised by one of the member of parliament, Trinamool Congress parliament, saying that what action government has done, the concern raised by the election commission. And he said, we are not aware about it. That is the time all my document till that collected went into public domain immediately.
Hmm. The ECI was about to publish the details related to the electoral bonds on March 15th, but they just went a day ahead and then they published the details. But the fact is, as we speak, we still don't know a lot of details. We only know the names of the companies, basically the names of the donors, when they donated the amount. And on the other hand, we know the details of the political parties, the names of the political parties who encashed that amount and the day in which the amount was encashed. But we still don't have the data which interlinks both these crucial informations. Now, I want to know from you, why is there such a huge delay from the part of the State Bank of India? And as far as the alphanumeric numbers are concerned, what is the importance of the alphanumeric numbers in this entire scheme of things?
Yeah, I'll explain you. But before that, there we have two sets of documents on the website now.
Hmm.
One set is what SBI has given two files. The second is there was direction on 12th April 2019 as an interim order of Chief Justice Gogoi that every party has to give in to Election Commission in sealed cover complete details of their electoral bond, the purchase or the details of that, including the name of the donor and everything. Then when this second hearing the final hearing took place from 31st October to 1st and 2nd in 2000, November in 2003, that bench said that order had to, I mean, that seal covers had to be continued till we gave a order.
Hmm.
So now they had asked them to collect information till the 30th of September 2023 in sealed cover. So in other ways, when those seal covers were handed over to the Supreme Court by Election Commission, because they don't know what is inside those. They just preserve those things, hand it over, and when the hearing took place on 11th, I was present in the court. That entire box of those letters, which was, I mean, the data provided by the political party, were in front of everybody, was opened up. Few of the letters were samples were seen, and it was the order says now election commission to take charge of these documents and upload without delay.
Hmm.
But what was happening is that Supreme Court itself scanned those documents and provided the documents to election commission, so that there is no, you know, kind of any missing documents. So entire set of documents were provided to EC, who went back to the court saying that please hand over to us our document. And this Sunday they uploaded. Now you have two sets of them to cross check. One is provided by the SBI, as you said, separately, don't as a separate political party. But the important one is what political parties.
Hmm.
They also gave their data. Now, this plus and this plus. Now, regarding your talking alphanumeric number, initially when the scheme had come up, there was very little mention till Queen journalist Poonam Agarwal had some kind of instinct. So she bought 1,000 K2 of electoral bond and got a forensic test. Then they found it's only under UV, there is a serial number. Promptly, ministry came up saying that with a PIB release, in fact, I have put all these documents on my Twitter handle. You can read those. We have kept it because there will be audit trail. They mentioned audit trail, but though yesterday court it was not there. I'm
Hmm.
searching for that document. The alphanumeric number, I don't know how will they give because these were embedded in the electoral bond itself, UV light. By giving number, but they are giving you a data. I fail to understand even after that.
I also fail to understand that.
Will they give the copies of the electoral bond? Because it's embedded in that.
If the alphanumeric numbers are, or these codes are embedded in the electoral bonds itself, then
And you see UV light,
how,
UV light is.
and it can be only seen through UV light, then from where is the SBI actually going to collect, collate, and send this information to the ECI or submit it before the Supreme Court? Now,
You see there,
is
right
there a
from beginning they
possibility
wanted.
that this alphanumeric code is also there in the back in the system, along with the SBI, where they can easily send it across through a digital format? Is that possible?
No, plus they could have that some serial number given to them and provide those serial number, which is instead of numeric, they will give it. But let's see how it comes. It should have come by today or tomorrow.
Hmm.
But that will be able to link it. But there are many methods of linking it. I think media has written so much since 14th. Who
Hmm.
paid to whom? Even yesterday news
Hmm.
was there. When Nitin Sethi said
Hmm.
the money has gone. In fact, that papers I have just scanned
Yeah.
it and going to upload it in my hand. You can make out which date. You see, today everybody is converted the two files of SBI into Excel files.
Hmm.
Filter with dates.
Hmm.
Both sides get filter with dates, and you know which date which
But,
went
but
to
but I think that
amount also.
all this exercise that the media is conducting, it's great. It's great in a sense. It's good that media is trying to bring in more information to the public domain. But this should have been done by the SBI. It should have been an easier
That is what they
process.
want.
The media
I
should have
mean, if you
actually
have gone the case,
exactly,
they wanted to do that.
exactly the
You see, when they say we want time till 30th June, 2 days before the final day,
hmm,
because its linkage will take us time.
hmm.
The Supreme Court had come up in that bench. When did we tell you to do that?
Yeah. What were you
You
doing
provide the
before this
data you
by?
have with us. You
Hmm.
know, that was too much. I mean, today
Okay.
when you have got the largest bank, click of this thing, you get information.
Yeah.
And 30th June, next government would have come by that.
The extent to which the government went about bending the rules so that the EB scheme can be brought about. three acts were amended: the Income Tax Act, the Representation of the People's Act 1951, and also the Companies Act 2013. All this was done so that the government can bring about the electoral bond scheme, and they can start, all the political parties can start
Correct.
accepting
I always
donations.
say that
Can you tell
amendment
me
to those.
other instances where rules were bent apart from these three acts being amended?
You see, rules were bent right from the scratch. When you say amendment to the RBI Act, RBI is supposed to be looking after, is a, you know, a constitutional body to look after the functioning of the government financial matter. It became the other way around. In fact, till the last minute, in the whole process went on 2017 till they came back on 2nd January and opened up. The process, the RBI said, it is our function. But every reply which was made by, because governor used to write to the finance minister, but one secretary used to, who is in these days quite a lot popular in the various panel discussion. He's the one who was working on it. He will reply. And once, second attempt when made by the governor on 27th of September, he said, no, we are the government, we are already amended, and what we want to do? He said, okay, do it digital, DMAT format, because we can track the money. He said, then the whole purpose is defeated. Our purpose is to keep the name of donors secret. That the entire scheme was worked out like this. There very little they talked of the name of political party, but they're talking of donors' name.
Hmm.
And now you see what happened yesterday's court. That all that industry, whether CII, FICCI, they all came up that don't do that.
Hmm.
Unless there is something gone wrong in the system, they were this thing. So
Yeah.
now yesterday final order was by the, it's not only the numbers, they said anything available which allows us to uh, match it, please
Hmm.
provide all that information. That was the order.
Hmm.
And give to that effect in affidavit to say that nothing is kept back with it. So let's see what all they give it to allow people to match
Correct.
it. That
Correct.
is how it is. And
Yeah.
there, when you say bending rules, bending rule was started with a bending rule. Entire bending rule was there anyway. But when it came down, they didn't agree with anybody to start with, all the public authorities who objected. Even law ministry had come up saying that, look, you when a draft came, you can't have a promissory note. It has to be proper documentation. It's a currency like this.
Hmm.
But that was also overruled within the system. So 2nd January, when they issued the notification in 2018, it was very clear. There'll be 4 times 10 days sale. That'll be in January, April, July, and October. And when there is a election for the Lok Sabha, 30 days more will be given that time during that period, which government has a choice whether to do 30 days, 10 days, 30 days, in that period. They can divide into that. But they started with a fault. First thing they conducted in March 2018 itself, which
Hmm.
was not listed in this thing. Reason, I mean, I have dug out one file. Reason was they were not ready, even the bonds were not. But that I will share with you one document which has come from file, how they ran for first 2 days, and they've written in lieu of January. That itself was illegal. You can't have it in lieu of something. If you miss the January one, you miss the January one.
Hmm.
Then suddenly came the April was a routine one, April 2008. May, they wanted to carry out a, then suddenly decided that Karnataka election or elections were coming. At that time it was Karnataka. Let's
Hmm.
open for May.
Hmm.
That's not notification. So I still remember that at least I give full credit to the officer there, the bureaucrats office, middle level officer. They say, sir, if you want to do it, let's amend the notification. You can't do it. So they had put up a draft, but secretary said, no, we have just started. We can't be amending it in within a month or 2 months.
Hmm.
But then something came up on the within a week or something on the file because State Bank had objected, ministry itself has objected that Prime Minister desires. Then nobody questioned.
Hmm.
Even at that stage, they could have amended the notification. So they went with an illegal way of doing it.
Hmm.
And not only that, in that year, they opened up for other elections also, like Bihar and all. So
Hmm.
first year itself was all illegal. So three of them were illegal if you go by this thing.
Hmm.
March was illegal because
Yeah. Yeah.
so that is illegality because you want to do something, you are doing it. And not only this, a journal as a standard was made first to 10, or if first is a holiday, you will do it. But they have been moving that in such a way when elections are around that starting delay, starting date is delayed to such a way the encashment taking place when the election going on.
Hmm.
Otherwise, alternatively, when this was overlap between the election and the sale of electoral bond, finance ministry will go to the election commission, take approval,
Hmm.
and they will give the approval because both are going on with certain conditions. Then slowly we have noted that, from time to time, they will start informing them. It was worst situation in November, December 2023, too,
Hmm.
when the election commission had to say, you have already issued the public PIB release for the sale, and
Hmm.
this is the time. There's time mentioned. I got the intimation.
Hmm.
Now they don't even feel to do that.
Yeah.
So this was happening it, and they regulated now on 7th November 2022, they amended the notification,
Okay.
which allowed another 15 days for the,
Hmm.
for the assembly election. But initially the whole program which was there, that it should be minimum sale. That was a finally dialogue was decided between the RBI and all. In fact, they wanted 7 days sale
Hmm.
minimum. But now they added 15 days. So whenever the state election, around the year, they'll be sale.
As far as the political parties are concerned and the funds they've received is concerned, the BJP, we all know that BJP has got majority of funds with nearly them getting around 7,000 crores. TMC has got around 1,400 crores, Congress close to 1,350 crores, and then even BRS close to 1,330 crores. Clearly, one political party has benefited the most. We all know that. Other political parties say that we didn't want to take money, but we were forced to take. Otherwise, one party would have got an undue advantage and they would have got an edge. Now, my question to
And
you
this
is,
argument
what is
doesn't,
done? Yeah, it doesn't.
see, the
Correct.
argument doesn't gel. But the fact is,
Correct.
the only party which didn't take was
True.
CPIM
True.
because they
Now,
were also petitioner.
yeah. Now,
They were petitioner. They didn't
what is
petition.
done now? What is done cannot be undone. Money has already come
Yes.
in. The political parties have used it. The rest will be used for the coming elections. What does it really say about a democracy? In June, let's say when a new government is going to be elected, what does it say about the government? A government that has been elected out of a political campaign that was done through money received through questionable means. Is that what we will talk about when we talk about this new government? Where does this leave
Yeah.
our democracy
See, I
according
think
to you?
you got, you see, not only that was done, but you are not brought out that in 2016, they had amended FCR, which allowed the subsidy of a foreign company to operate in India. And when they removed their profit part 7.5 of 3 years, and then you can donate, that was removed. So the companies which did not even made money, they were donating,
Hmm.
and that means there was a foreign influence. Earlier, because of the larger money, those who pay like this,
Hmm.
they're going to influence your policy. They will not be fair. And when his money is in crores, nobody going to give you money. Today, that's the entire sale, that average is, you see, they had 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh denomination, and 1 crore. 94.7% is sold in 1 crore. Out of 16,500, more than 15,000 bonds, say 15,000 are 1 crore. So who is giving it?
Hmm.
Although which data is coming, that names we are thinking they are not there, but they can always through the shell companies and subsidiaries they are doing it.
Hmm.
It has also come out in the last 4 days itself. Those companies who never made profit
Yeah,
and they were paying it from where the money is coming.
correct. Now,
But free and fair election, see, I always consider most important institution in the country should be Election Commission of India. You can't have a robust democracy if there's no control there.
hmm.
Because he is responsible, the institute is responsible conducting free and fair election. It is written in the constitution article. So when they start compromising, then the problem starts.
I
And
also remember you sharing some documents with me a couple of years ago, I guess, and which has now been reported because another news organization, Reporters Collective, has tried to make sense of the details and they have tried to link the donors with the political party. I'm talking about the information that the BJP used its clout to encash expired electoral bonds worth 10
Mm.
crore rupees. Basically, the SBI was forced to get the job done. Tell us exactly about this particular case where the BJP forced the State Bank of India to encash expired electoral bonds. What really
See,
happened?
I am not going to say they
Hmm.
are forced, but the fact is that you presume out of that what happened.
Hmm.
This was the first is the illegal sale of May when Karnataka election. It was not part of the notification.
Hmm.
And in the month of May, when the sale was there,
Hmm.
we came to know it is there in the reply of which I got it from the SBI saying that there are two parties having 10 crore, 1 crore each for total amount was 10 crore. They approached the main branch of Delhi for redemption of
Hmm.
main party. They said your time period is gone. Now time period means there are 15 days for encashment. Means let's say if you buy it on first, the first day is included. Add 14 days, irrespective they are the calendar days. It's not a working days.
Hmm.
Holidays are inclusive of that. And if it's a 1 to 10, the anyone who buys on 10th, from the day you buy, the last date would fall on 24th. Similarly, if you change the dates, it will go on. That means 10th is counted as the first day and another 14 days that day. In this case, it was 1 to 10. First, the illegal sale. Then, two parties who had a 1 crore each, total sum of 10, they approached Delhi main branch for redemption on the last day. And they said your period is over. Now, one party had bought it on 3rd of May and the other one is on 5th of May. Then how fast it happened that during that period, there was one holiday also. So last day was 23rd instead of 24th.
Hmm.
So activated so fast that what was the interest of SBI daily to inform the office of chairman? You know what was there has to be interest, otherwise they won't do it. If it's expired, it's expired. Then
Hmm.
the office of chairman, which signed as a chairman, deputy MD has signed the letter, immediately emailed it to the ministry back to Delhi. That means it was happening in a lightings. Then there is a file which will be coming up now on my tweet today. I just prepared this morning. Then they said, okay, the noting officially formality was done. No, file mein karna, this is a time consuming. And I am also giving you looking at the time. Bank opens at 10:30 in the morning and the transaction is about 4 or 5. It's all happening in that period. Then what they did was they said, okay, there are two options. If either we amend because these parties took a excuse that it's a calendar year, it is a working days, not the calendar year. And what most shocking was that statement, SBI chairman's office, I think, because they were totally involved in structuring this system. Asking the question, the two parties have come and they are saying they were working on the working days. How could they say? You know exactly each paper, you clear the draft, but all these things then create a suspicion in your mind, various kind of things. But they cleared it. It came back to chairman's office, okay, and the money was in cash. In fact, they went on 23rd with this thing. One was did not meet even that requirement of minimum, even after you call working days, within the 15 days. So one was not in cash. So one party's 10 crore, that means each of 1 crore was encashed, and the file said, which I just this morning was handling, there was two options. Either we do the notification amendment. At every stage, it came notification amendment, or we give them one time to make it clear. Since there is a doubt, let's agree as a one-time exemption. So finally, they get one-time exemption. But look at it from money, when you approach a bank, it comes to a minister. You go back to the ministry, proper file process. Does it take place that far? It
Yeah.
comes back to the clearance, back to the chairman's office, and then bank is given instructions
Hmm.
that please pay. So what they did was 23rd of the May, they kept the documents. Only one party because second had crossed it.
Hmm.
That means 10 crore was 10 on this
Hmm.
thing. But approval was actually, this is another issue. The approval and file process on 24th. Why did they keep that this thing?
Yeah.
So they say in the file the actual payment was done on 24th, but date of bond which was submitted was 23rd.
Yeah.
And yesterday, I mean, that one of the media group we were talking about has now, with the data available of date wise, had matched the 10 crore on that same date which file said. So they could come and say who got it.
Hmm. So
And that was the only
with regard to the electoral bonds, I want to know, did anybody approach you, the government or a politician or a government official, did they approach you and did they ask you to go slow? Batra ji, just go slow on electoral bonds, go slow on filing your RTIs, or go slow
no,
with
no,
your
no.
disclosures
No,
to
I
the
would,
media. So you have
you
not
would have
faced
asked, you
any
should,
threat or any
instead of
intimidation.
that, you should ask me how difficult or how easy it was for me. And I would always answer it. I
Okay,
faced
please.
no problem of getting information. It
Hmm.
was fast. Today, I have a lot of praise for both SBI and
Hmm.
Department of Economic Affairs.
Hmm.
You see what happens, SBI, they might have come up, but then it has come from top, and top must be under some pressure.
Hmm.
The first application signed by a very, I mean, AGM level officer, but in this case, between that, it's a lower function
Hmm.
working in that. Who are the people? Same team has been providing me within the day's process finished. 2 days later, I had it. They also combine all the information of whatever they say and this thing. Complete chart goes to the ministry, that is the Department of Economic Affairs. Say, that's the 24th was last day. 25th, you will find pure will letter lying with the Department of Economic Affairs.
Hmm.
And another 2 days later, I get it.
Hmm.
Same thing happens in Department of Economic Affairs. So what I faced the problem was with the Department of Revenue. But now, that time Election Commission was giving me, now we are facing biggest problem. That is my biggest worry. The main institute is not being handled properly because that is where the focus should come with the activists. As I said in 2020, till 20, they will give me all the files. I can go walk in the affidavit. And what the affidavit, the counter affidavit they filed in Feb 2020 also had a true copy of the list of seal covers and parties के साथ provided. That was 105. While there were not that many parties, so a lot of study was done. We wanted to do physical checkup, then COVID came. So later on, a team went around and did the because it was a bad communication between the political parties and the Election Commission of India. That's the way they are functioning.
Hmm.
Now, exactly same this time, I can share with you that RTI when you want to write to talk about it, which has gone to CIC now. They have gone so opaque, and they're not only that, their replies are whether you laugh or cry, you don't know, as if they don't understand RTI.
Hmm.
Same time, 19 November was last date when the seal covers details were to be provided to the Supreme Court.
Hmm.
Following the previous RTI, I mentioned it was 4-page information feeding. You had given me, this is a list of 125 parties you gave me, that was attached there. Then I went ahead that SBI has told, I mean, recent, this, at the moment, there are only 25 parties which are eligible who have opened their account. I also went ahead and wrote one paragraph in that, which I was campaigning right from 2nd November when the judgment was reserved. Ki how will ECI get it? See,
Hmm.
they are asking seal cover. They have nothing to do except asking for it. Actual, that direction should have gone to State Bank.
Hmm.
Because they have got unique number, they are the first one, they could have got it and given it.
Hmm.
And the only people, as per the notification, it could be happening anyway,
Hmm.
law enforcing agencies can take the information. So I was just saying, even law enforcing agency go there and they want urgent information. They said, you will take 4 months. That like they told the, that's a very clear thing. So the
Hmm.
point is that information, you see, number of stories I did, I put in today also through the media, ki Supreme Court should have asked state by state backup. The message got it this time when the
Hmm.
judgment came that asking them to give. But earlier they told them in that when the judgment was reserved, uh, only direction was the election commission that get the information of seal cover till 30th of
Yeah.
September.
Now that the Supreme Court has wrapped the SBI and the SBI has been asked to provide full details of the bond numbers to the Election Commission by March 21st, what can
Anything
we
which
expect?
helps.
Yeah, anything which helps. What can we expect post this disclosure?
You see, it has brought in a larger issue. In fact, it's a worldwide. It was the biggest legalized scam. World is talking about. The amount may be only 16,500 crore, but it's the largest scam. You legalize corruption.
Hmm.
That is the biggest issue. So one should be more or less, I can assure you media will be working on it for next 2 months. Slowly,
Yes.
slowly, things will be tumbling out of that
Hmm.
state, and election will be on that.
You've spent a lot of sleepless nights, sending RTI petitions. And very recently, each time I called you, you were in either in the States, even then you have been answering calls of all the journalists. We've been calling you at the Indian time, but it must have been late night there. You've been answering calls and you've been very kind and generous. You've been sending so many documents to all media organizations, not giving anybody exclusive access, but keeping all the information that you have, putting it forth to in the public domain through your tweets, sharing it with the media. You've done some amazing work, commendable work, and journalists like us have really benefited out of this. Thanks a lot,
And I disturbed
Commodore
also.
Batra, for.
Initially I thought Indian time, but then I do individually. There are 300,
Yeah.
400 bodies, and sometimes it's two part. So I
Hmm.
didn't care that night time they get a notification because I can't do it. Next day, the earliest that information which I have must go to them.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Thank you.
And I
Thanks
learned
a lot.
my this Twitter now only, and
Yeah.
I still can't make thread.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Commodore Batra, for
No,
talking to
you are
me.
welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's a privilege and honor for me. And thank
The
you so
pleasure is
much. I
mine.
hope the message goes
Mine.
to the people. My always transparency means the information, whatever we have told, must go to everyone.